Good morning. Today we turn to Psalm 60. I don't know if it's the longest title in the Psalms, but it certainly has to be one of the longest. Let me just read the title. For the director of music, to the tune of The Lily of the Covenant, a mitkam of David for teaching, when he fought Aram Naharaim and Aram Zobah, and when Joab returned and struck down 12,000 Edomites in the Valley of Salt. Sounds like a great book title to me. But this one is an interesting psalm. It kind of breaks into three sections. The first one is a complaint. It goes like this. Actually, it feels very contemporary. You have rejected us, O God, and burst forth upon us. You've been angry. Now restore us. You have shaken the land and torn it open. Mend its fractures, for it is quaking. Doesn't that feel contemporary to you? You have shown your people desperate times. You have given us wine that makes us stagger. Again, ancient language, but describing times like ours where things seem fractured, where they feel desperate. Given us wine that makes us stagger. So I think that feels very much like these times. But now I want to show you the next verses because really I want to key in on verse 4. He says in verse 4, but, indicating a shift of mood here, but for those who fear you, you have raised a banner to be unfurled against the bow. And so a banner would be like a flag, and the bow, of course, is a weapon of war. For those who fear you, you have raised a banner to be unfurled against the bow. And really what that is picturing is like in a battle where you have what's called the standard bearer. We're all familiar with that. Or even more modern in America, we call them color guard. These are people we see in a more ceremonial situations, like when I would do a memorial service or an interment for a veteran, they have the color guard show up from whatever branch of service that person was in, and they come with the flag. I never really understood that as much as I did in studying this, because the standard bearer bears or carries the standard, which is usually a flag or shield indicating the power of the state which the army is representing. And it's a very important role. And you have to think back to maybe William Wallace, in Braveheart, like carrying the flag into battle. And that's what he's saying here. He's saying, but for those who fear you, you have raised a banner to be unfurled against the bow. So he's saying, we carry this flag saying we belong to God. And so we can go into the battle completely confident because of who we represent. Now watch what he says next, beginning in verse 5. Save us and help us with your right hand, that those you love may be delivered. God has spoken from his sanctuary, and now it begins with quotation marks. This is God speaking. In triumph I will parcel out Shechem and measure off the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine and Manasseh is mine. And then he starts to use some images. Ephraim is my helmet. Judah, my scepter. Moab is my wash basin, which is literally the basin in which you'd have the dirty water after you wash someone's feet. Upon Edom, I toss my sandal, as if to say, I just throw my shoe there. It's also possible that it's like a sign of contempt. You may remember during the Bush administration, someone, I believe, over in Iraq threw a shoe at George Bush, and it was a sign of tremendous disrespect. So it may be saying, upon Edom, I throw my shoe in disrespect. Over Philistia, I shout in triumph. So he's saying, God defeats his enemies and kind of laughs at their contention against him. Such is his strength. And then verse 9, who will bring me to the fortified city? Who will lead me to Edom? Is it not you, God, who have rejected us and no longer go out with our armies? He's back into a kind of a complaint here. Give us aid against the enemy, for the help of man is worthless. With God we will gain the victory, and he will trample down our enemies. This really reflects the duality of life that we experience, where we feel like, oh, there's COVID. Oh, the terrible political turmoil that we see in our country. Oh, the racial tensions we see. And God says, well, do you look to man, to mankind, to humanity, to politicians for your hope? Or do you look to me? Do you look to me to change the hearts of people and to set things right and to bring justice into the land? So live with that closing there. With God, we will gain the victory. We will be his standard bearers, and he will trample down our enemies. God triumphs, and we will triumph with him. That's good news to start our day today.